Good morning.
Good morning, Wayne. How are you?
Great, thank you. So nice to see the sun this morning.
It sure is, but it's cold.
Oh, it's cold? I haven't been out yet.
Oh, it's freezing. It's like 21.
Oh, okay.
My son is skiing in a canyon and it's like -1 today.
Oh, wow. I'm going to be coming over and seeing you after the meeting sometime.
Okay. I'm working remotely right now, usually the
Are you
meeting.
going to the office or no?
Pardon me?
Are you going to go to the office today?
I am. Usually for the meetings, I work remotely because I have an office mate, Tejal, and it's kind of disruption. So,
I know.
yeah.
Nobody else on yet?
So it looks like Donald Stasko and Jeff DeLisi and Erin Herman. I'm not sure. If you could please, Erin, let me know what subject matter you're interested in by using the chat.
I think that has to do with 12 Parking Way or something. We have to find out about that manhole.
Yeah, Erin, I had it. Sorry. I had a different with Split Rock.
Yes, the Beer Garden 12 Parking Way, yes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Sorry.
I had your last name on your email was a little different. So.
Oh yeah, my maiden name. I still haven't changed it. I need it's one of those things.
All right, let's see. I'm just going to mute you until that comes up.
Sure.
Did you have a nice New Year, Wayne?
Excuse me?
Did you have a nice holiday?
Yes, very nice. Thank you.
Good, good, good.
Does someone have a question already? I see the chat thing is on.
I don't see it.
Hey, guys.
Morning. Happy New Year.
Same. How are you?
Good morning.
Hi, Bill.
All right. Start right on time. Who is that?
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Same. How are you?
Good.
Thank you. Same to
Good
you.
morning. Happy New Year.
Oh, shoot. I think we have everybody. Shall we start? Almost on time. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 10:01. President Lisa McGonigal, Bill McGowan, Wayne Sawchuk, Dan Coughlin, and Paul Kearse. Our first order of business is the DEP agreement letter, CJC.
Yes, so that letter was basically an agreement that Mark Nagarati put together for Brian to sign. I think I had sent it to you guys when we got it in the middle of December. But Brian checked with the, I meant to say DOT, but I said DEP. So Brian talked to the Mass DOT and made sure this wasn't anything that that would make us liable for anything.
Mhm.
And it's not, it's something that the owner, well, the town has to be the applicant for the road work, I believe. And so I just put it on the agenda in case anybody had any questions.
I don't.
Is Brian going to join the meeting?
Pardon me?
Is Brian going to join the meeting?
He was going, oh, here he is. He is here. I'm sorry. Sorry, Brian. I saw his hand up.
Yeah, so if he could just give us his summary, that would be great.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So yeah, I talked to DOT District 5 yesterday, and the town does need to provide the letter for Tetra Tech to handle the permitting on, I guess, on our behalf, even though, you know, just for the record, obviously it doesn't put the town either financially or legally on the hook to construct the main. I guess that's the only caveat with that, but I did sign the letter, and Lisa notarized it yesterday, and it'll be going to you, Mark, shortly.
Thank you. We have it. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else on this, Lisa?
No,
I know we have the Tanya coming on, I think at like, what, 10 something, or excuse me, 11 o'clock or after that. I've got a 11:30 call that I have to be on, so I'm gonna, I might have to leave early, so. So we have the Cook Estate update next.
okay, so let's see. Let me promote. Jean. Tom Flannery, could you let me know what your subject matter interest is so I can promote you as needed?
He's a Cook Estate guy.
Oh, okay, so I'll promote him now. Thank you. And I think everybody's on. Yep, everybody's on.
Hi, Lisa. I'm sorry, I guess I was on mute. Yeah, Tom Flannery, I'm a member of the board up here at Cook Estates. I'm attending on behalf of Jane Reardon, who could not make it today due to a conflict that she had So happy to join.
Great, thank you. So I guess we have this on the agenda ongoing as for updates.
Yeah, I don't know if Brian is on it. I don't know if Brian has heard anything from Woodward and Kern on the evaluation of the Deer Hill pumping station.
They haven't done a further deep dive yet, or at least I haven't gotten a report back on it. They did look at the pumping records and showed that it did, it only ran about a half an hour to 2.5 hours a day. So there was ample capacity to take the flow. The draft, I guess, concept sewer from the Cook Estates, I forwarded that to the schools just so that, it is, it's town property, but it's also on the school committee property, just to say, this is a proposal and we want to make, and I'm not sure if they've brought it up or discussed it at a committee meeting or even just in the school management structure. But, so that's kind of where we stand.
Okay. Has any evaluation been done on how the line would run? Because I think it would have to go down the center of Sawyer Street as opposed to the edge of Sawyer Street, and then over into Deer Hill. Is that the plan?
Do we have Sean on? I know Sean was taking a look at the maps and had something laid out, but I don't know if he's on or if he shared that with anyone on the commission.
Have you heard anything, Dan?
I don't see him on.
Well, Brian, have you seen the plan?
I mean, his initial plan was running along the edge of the roadway, but it was just a schematic.
Yeah, I've seen the schematic plan. It didn't really get into the detail of road length.
Okay, yeah, it probably this one, I don't think this one is exactly.
Yeah, I don't know either. I was actually just tuning in to get an update myself.
So
So a detailed design, I don't think it's been conducted yet.
Okay. So I had a meeting earlier in the week and actually prior to Christmas with Don Piet going over our budget items. And I think we are going to need to put a placeholder on the warrant for maybe 2 articles at minimum for this property. I did briefly talk to town manager if there were any articles that would need to be put on the warrant specific to running a line and then going into the public school system. So he didn't think we needed anything, but he was going to check on it. So that's something that we need to address as well. If this has to be done in 12 months, as Pam stated, would be preferable versus the 24 months, then we would need to have whatever articles we need on the warrant. And the deadline for that, I believe, is February.
So we got to get a cost estimate pretty damn quick on this thing. So we can use that, yeah.
So if there's a more detailed plan proposed that we can get a copy of and then have Dan review it, we have a better understanding of, what the needs are that we might have for any articles that have to go on the warrant.
Okay, I'll check with Sean and Jane later today and see where we are on that. But I know he had started to do that.
Okay.
We also did have representatives up here to count and inspect the number of bedrooms in each house or bedrooms, I guess, because that's the count. So that was done about a week to 10 days ago. And I believe they were able to get into most every property up here. So I think that work is complete.
So when do you anticipate sharing the data with us?
We have that, and someone from the town, I don't know who it was, so I don't know.
That was the assessor, and I got a copy of that as well. I can forward it to the board. I'll give it to Lisa.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
also
thought I
have
could.
I have a copy of that too, Tom, so we can do that.
Okay, yeah, so it's a number of number of dwellings and number of bedrooms, right?
Correct.
And did you put any capacity dwellings on there for expansion? I believe you had the capacity for 5 additional units.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's 5 additional, but we did talk about that. I don't know, Jane or Alicia, if that was discussed with the group that walked around that day.
It wasn't discussed. The expansion was not discussed. We were just counting what was existing. And I believe we're still trying to coordinate a meeting with the board to discuss the other issue about possible expansion and what that would look like and how much would be added.
Okay. Yeah, we'd like to know that because, once sewer is in. So,
Right, of course.
yeah.
I think with the holiday too, it was hard to get together with all of us and also with Sean Hardy. So hopefully within the next week or so, we'll be able to do that.
Okay.
Now, they are going to pave Sawyer Street this spring, so we want to make sure that the sooner the line gets in any pavement areas, the better, so that there's plenty of settlement before we pave it, before the town paves it.
Okay.
If I could
Right.
just ask a question to Mr. Kearse, you had brought up about the warrant articles, the possibility of having to put a couple on there for us for these purposes. This was deemed an emergency situation, and I thought that we were going to bypass town meeting with all of this. Do you foresee us having to go before the town at this point?
I'm looking for clarity from the town manager on that. He was not sure that we had to have an article, but I wanted to put a placeholder in there in case we did.
I see. Okay.
So the emergency is from Pam, I believe, is that the septic has failed, therefore it has to be hooked to sewer. I don't think that emergency overrides any other requirements by the town that I'm aware of. It just places a higher level of urgency.
I can, I'll check with the town manager and town council.
Okay. Thank you, Pam.
I don't know how the town could say no if in fact all of the circumstances are as they are. So, if it delays it by months, it doesn't make sense to me to push to see that or require that it go before town meeting.
Yeah, and my recollection is that, if this is a public safety emergency, that it can and should bypass the town meeting. I mean, it's a no choice, no problem situation.
Yes, I think that's what we had discussed before. So we are in agreement with you on that here.
Right. And as far as the school goes, we just want it in an area that they don't plan on putting any additions or anything like that, or, that it's going to be a safe location that can stay there for a long time.
Okay. All right, again, we'll get to Sean and see what he's got for the plan and whether or not he's got it done in sufficient detail, and to make sure he reaches out to you on that so that you can be side by side with him as he pulls that together.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on the Cook Estate, guys?
So we're going to put them on the agenda for just an update in 2 weeks.
Yes, I think we should just keep doing it until we don't need to. I thought that's what we were planning anyway, but yeah.
All right, so the action items we have is to get a list of the units, number of bedrooms, and also the potential additional units that could be added to the property. And also Pam's going to find out if there's any articles that need to go on the warrant for any of the issues that surround connecting this to Deer Hill.
Right, but even if they don't come back to us and say they don't want to, don't know if they want 5 now, I think it'd probably be prudent to add, even if we added 5 3-bedroom units, just to size the system.
Yeah, we just have to understand what our potential capacity issues are going to be. That's all.
Oh, I know.
From a practical base, 5 extra units probably isn't going to change the design very much.
Okay.
When you're saying 5 units, are you saying 5 additional homes?
Yeah, I believe
Well,
that's what was
we were
just-
led to believe that's what you were thinking of doing.
Okay, we're currently reviewing our bylaws to see what it states. I honestly don't think there's enough room for 5 homes, but we will get back to you in a couple of weeks and have an answer for you.
Okay.
I think that there's also the chance that someone could want to add a bedroom to their house, which would be, a fraction of an EDU also. And so maybe that's where the expansion goes, not the expansion for new construction, but the expansion of just adding on to an existing structure.
I think
Okay.
that's what we were going to try to discuss as a board as well. Wayne, you're correct. Just so that we have how to view each home and what the potential maximum amount of bedrooms would be maybe in each one, and how that relates to the current count.
And something like that could be used for someone that needs to have an in-house caretaker or something like that. That may even be just temporary, but I think you want that flexibility.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Paul's comment should include the sketch plan,
Okay.
so we have an idea. And it's going to help you too, because that way you can get an estimate of what it might cost you and stuff too.
Right. Okay. All right. Hopefully we'll have better updates on these items in the next couple of weeks.
It'll just help you move it along faster.
Yep.
Okay, we all set on this?
Okay.
Thank you.
Should we go to the beer garden?
All right, so we have Erin Herman and Ryan Hilton. Let me promote them.
Good morning.
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 Hi. Thanks for having us. I think there's been a lot of conversation. I guess I could just jump right in unless you guys have background or if you want me to kind of explain what we're hoping to do here, whatever you prefer.
Is this a permanent thing that you want to do, or is this a temporary thing that you want to do?
Yeah, so it's permanent. And I think probably the best way to explain this is is it all right if I share my screen, Lisa?
Sure.
Okay. I think I'm going to show kind of what I showed you on the Google Maps and then show some renderings just to paint the picture and then kind of explain our ask.
So before we begin, have you been in front of any other committee with these plans in town?
We have, yeah, we've been in front of the site plan review a couple times.
Planning committee?
Yeah, sorry, the planning committee twice, and we're going to be wrapping that up tomorrow as well. And then, been talking to a lot of folks at town hall, but have a couple other meetings scheduled for later this month. But we've been talking to Brian about this particular project, some back and forth, and Lisa as well. And they suggested to get in front of you guys because there are some nuances to it. So I think we can kind of explain the project and then hopefully get into some of the questions that we have and open up the discussion, because I think that will be really helpful for both Brian and I to get your all's opinion on kind of next steps.
And for the record, can you identify both of yourselves and what your role is in this project?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm Erin Herman, co-founder and owner of Split Rock.
Yep. Hey, I'm Ryan Hilton, co-founder and owner as well. So Erin and I have been working on this project for almost a year now.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. And you all let me know when you can see it. Can you see it?
We just see the blank Microsoft screen, Erin, right now.
Wrong. Here we we go.
Wrong screen.
Wrong screen. Sorry about that. Here we go. All right, you see?
There it is. Yep.
All
Thanks.
right, so the area we're talking about here is it's referenced as 12 Parking Way. It's the back lot behind 12 Parking Way that we are renting out from our landowner, landlord. And it's going to be along here and then this back lot here. To give you a visual, we have some renderings drawn up of our kind of plans, and this is what it's going to look like. We're going to have some tables along the side there, and then in the back will be a 40-foot converted container bar that is going to be fully integrated and hooked up to the sewer and water lines. And the reasoning behind that is we are going to have 3 restrooms that are going to be enclosed in the container bar. And so I think the best way to look at that, and this is what I've been describing it to people, is basically it's like a prefabricated building that we're having built and manufactured by a company that does this over in Amsterdam, actually. And we'll have it shipped over when it's done. The building's under review for building permits right now, just as an FYI, but that's kind of the overall look at what we're hoping to do. And then as this here is just some building specs. We don't need to go into it, but just kind of, again, another visual. These are the 2 bathrooms here. This is the ADA bathroom. This is what we're looking to have connected to the sewer. We're going to have a dishwasher and ice machine. So not a complex building. Again, it's fairly simple idea. The idea is to have a raw bar on one side and beer lines on the other, and then the restrooms on this side. So again, fairly simple, but we did want to have working toilets on the lot as an option for our patrons. And then as far as the sewer lines go, oh no, what's this? Hold on. Whoops, sorry. Well, I'll work on getting that.
I have the plot plan right here, Aaron, if you'd like me to pull it up.
Yeah, sure, that'd be great.
Sure. Oh, looks like I'm not set up for sharing.
These are similar to the container systems they have over at Nantasket Beach.
Yeah, similar. I'd say this is a little more built out. But yeah, similar idea. Mm-hmm.
How many hand washing sinks other than the exterior one do you have?
Yeah, so there are, let me pull up. There's 3.
Okay.
But the toilet room.
Sorry, there might be 2. I've gotta confirm that. I think there's 2, and then there's 1 inside the ADA.
That's right.
So the other 2 toilet rooms don't have sinks?
No, they're just the stalls, and then you come out and exit to the right, and there's hand sinks on the outside, and then the door for the ADA is on the other side. So
is this summer use only?
Sorry?
Is it summer use only? Correct.
Yeah, so the full, I guess I should have backed up. This is a seasonal concept. So we would be open from April through October. And our hours are going to be Wednesday through Saturday, 12 to 9, and then Sunday, 12 to 5. So yes, seasonal, outdoor. We have some hopes of doing some things, seasonally, maybe in December around Christmas time with some heaters and things, but ideal, I don't know how realistic it is to
Is your building going to be heated and the bathrooms heated?
Yeah, so we're going to have an air conditioned unit and a heater unit enclosed within the container to keep it temperate, and that's for our employees. So
I'm curious about the outside sinks because, for instance, a day like today, from a New Year's event, everything would be frozen.
Yeah, I mean, we're not, it's not our intention to be open in winter. Like our seasonal part is going to
Did you
be,
just say Christmas and New Year's?
oh, I said like we're looking at maybe doing that. We don't know if it's gonna be feasible or not. I mean, for reasons just like you mentioned. So our core hours and seasonality is going to be April through October.
So you haven't been before the Board of Health yet, I assume?
Not yet.
Okay, because it just seems that you're using a toilet and then you're gonna use your hand on the doorknob and then you're gonna go outside and use the sink to clean your hands. Just as a just as a comment.
Yeah. Mhm.
What is the capacity of occupants that you're going to have for the facility?
It's set at 100.
And are you gonna put a larger tent over those tables and stuff?
No tents, no. Just little umbrellas for the sun.
Okay.
What is your estimated turnover on tables?
Yeah, so we have an estimate of patrons per day. We're looking at, Tuesday through, actually I have those right here. Let me just pull it.
It's about 2.5 turns on our busiest day, we think.
Yeah, yep.
So you think you could run it close to 300 people through there?
We estimate about 250 on Saturday being our busiest day,
Yeah.
and over the hours of 12 to 9. Right.
Okay. What's the average stay for a customer, do you think? An hour? Hour and a half?
Yeah, I would say about 90 minutes. Yeah.
90? Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you determine the flow based on the number of people and stuff?
I mean, Title V has a standard criteria for this type of facility. It's based upon the number of seats primarily. So unless they have, I mean, do your patrons typically sit and eat while they're there, I'm assuming? Or is it,
Correct.
are you going to have takeaway as well?
Yeah, it's on premise. So most of them will be eating, sitting down. We will have a little area where it's like high top table where you can stand and, but yes,
Yeah.
the table space, yes, is there.
Yeah, so the normal criteria would simply be by the seat.
Mhm.
So we
Yeah,
need
what's
to know
your-
the total number of seats that you'd have.
Do you have a guesstimate, Dan, of what that could be? I mean, is it going to be an impact or?
No, flow wise, it shouldn't be an impact. I mean, my main concern is, you're building a somewhat permanent structure on top of the sewer. And that's a concern if we never had to get in there before. We probably never will have to get in there before, but it is a concern. You have multiple plumbing lines that are going to be over that. It's not something like you have a single connection point. And obviously you have all those plumbing features would, I'm assuming, be buried in the ground. So that
Are we gonna need a manhole over there, Dan?
looks like you already have a manhole right underneath the service counter. But you'd probably need a couple of clean outs at least to maintain their piping, and whether those are inside or out.
So should grease traps be planned as well, even though it's currently an oyster bar, but we don't know what the menu would change over the course of time?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be subject to, the building department as well as Pam. I mean, there's no room for a tank per se, but under counter grease traps or grease collection units within any cooking facility is probably going to be required. Probably under the sinks.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna have propane, or are you gonna be connected to natural gas?
It's a natural gas connection.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'd be a permanent connection to the facility?
Correct. And to the fire pit.
You don't have that shown though. Where is that located?
Yeah, I guess it's not designated on here. On the northwest corner of the existing building at 12 Parking Way, there is the natural gas line goes in right there. I don't think we have it designated on this particular drawing.
Yeah, I don't see it, yeah.
It's not going to be a separate meter, it's just going to be a branch off.
Yeah, most of the utilities are coming off of 12 Parking Way, which is our landlord's building.
Yeah, so it would appear that you probably have a gas main crossing the sewer as well, but the main concern is that this portion of the sewer, once this is built, is going to be fairly inaccessible. You have a manhole right in front of it, and I'm sure we have a manhole going on the other side, which also probably goes underneath a building extension. So we do have the manhole access, and we can always hopefully repair the pipe that way if we need to.
How close to the facility is it that we had run into this question with the harbor about moving their manhole?
Yeah, this might be, you'd end up putting in probably 2 additional manholes to reroute this line.
Okay.
It's a possibility. I don't have all the sizes out here to give you any more input.
Yeah.
Now, the note here about, it's got WS, I'm assuming it's water and sewer because our pictures are hiding the rest of the plan, but they should be 4 feet, the water should be 4 feet down too, and not just something below the surface so that doesn't freeze when you're here. And then the sewer and water have to be 10 feet apart, so that won't work at that location.
Yeah, so this is not going to be on a foundation. I assume it's going to be on a cement slab.
It's
So you
actually
started
it's on concrete footings, is the container bar.
Okay. Yeah, so basically nothing underneath it except for gravel.
Correct.
For curiosity, is it insulated?
It is not insulated, no.
Well,
Just one thing to mention, the sewer access point or the sewer cover that's there would need to be maintained accessible.
Okay.
I don't know if you're planning on any platform near the service area or anything like that, but
yeah, Dan, just curious, could that be under crushed stone, or does it have to be kind of a access, like direct access to it, or can it be covered in a couple inches of crushed stone?
That's up to the board, but generally speaking, in terms of access, it would need to be bracket-grade.
Yeah, everything, all the other manholes are pretty much on surface, so they're visible to those that need to access it. We don't go digging for manholes, generally speaking.
Okay.
So the 2 existing sewer manholes, we need to make sure are accessible and easily visible, obviously.
Yeah, if you're replacing all the pavement in this area with crushed stone, obviously the manhole should be slightly above it.
We're not replacing the existing asphalt. The plan is to lay the crushed stone on top of the asphalt with some additional drainage for some residual water.
so it says remove existing pavement. You're not going to do that then?
We're not removing existing pavement.
Okay. And I apologize, I didn't see the separate sewer line. I was just thinking of, instead of water service, I was thinking water sewer. So I now see the 2 locations that you're going to connect it onto.
Okay.
Okay. So is there anything that we need to do on our end, to kind of make this work beyond the sewer manholes, making sure that those are accessible? I know that there is some talk about current EDUs that were existing for 12 Parking Way, and we weren't able to find out what the current situation with that is. I don't know if that's something that you guys can find out on your end. But I guess, what are the open-ended kind of questions or action items for us.
You're suggesting using the EDUs from number 12, the existing building?
That's what we were hoping, yeah.
But these are brand new systems being put in on a temporary pad.
Well, it's a permanent pad.
Yeah, permanent pad, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what does the owner of the EDUs have to say about this?
Well, they own the property, so
Yeah,
they can be their landlord, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but they're suggesting just running
We have
a
to
line
look at
from
the plans to
his
see how-
building out to there. He's just extending his building. I don't see it.
Right,
I see it as a separate deal.
right. Well, it's an office building versus a restaurant.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, this is all,
I-
this is all new, this is all new construction in it, outside the foundation of the existing building. So I see it as a separate deal altogether.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
What do you mean by that, Paul?
What's that?
Can you clarify what you mean by that? Does that mean it's a completely separate E EDU?
Right. I see it as a separate structure with 3 bathrooms is what you're proposing. So we would have to calculate the EDUs for that facility.
Okay, and how is that calculated? Just for our information?
But Dan,
Yeah, basically, it's based upon the total estimated flow in accordance with primarily Title V. And then that's divided by, I believe the current number would be 440. And then that would represent the number of EDUs.
So there is a Title V that's on the Mass website, but we can get you a copy of where we believe it would fit.
Okay. So are you saying that, do you think there's a chance that it's multiple EDUs required?
How many seats do you have?
Capacity is 100. I think there's about 65 seats, 70 seats.
Right, but the permit's for 100 seat capacity, right? So that's what we have to go
100.
by. Yeah.
100 person capacity,
Yeah.
right?
Per person, but 65 seats. Yeah, so I mean, I'd really be looking at that as number of seats, you know, similar to a sub shop or a fast food restaurant. How many seats would be actually there? And yeah, it could be multiple EDUs. Are you going to be serving alcohol at all here or anything?
Yes, it's a beer garden. Yeah.
is it beer and wine only or hard liquor too?
Beer and wine.
Just beer and wine.
I mean, a quick calc, I'm looking at anywhere, I mean, it could be considered a lounge or a cabin or a restaurant, fast food. Basically, the flow per seat is about 20 gallons. So at 65 seats, you're looking at about 1,300 gallons per day potential. So that would be just about 3 EDUs.
That seems very high. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the estimate, but that just seems that seems high.
Yeah, I mean, seasonally,
Yeah, that's the other piece,
maybe
right?
have to take that into consideration as well. Seasonal use.
Yeah, these are calculations given to us by the state as to what category this fits in, and that's how the calculations are made.
And just to confirm, an EDU we would essentially be paying, I think they're $37,000 per EDU. Is that correct?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I think this if we have to pay for 3 EDUs, I think this makes this project probably not possible.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to not do it.
Oh, Lisa, what is the current EDU rate? I don't think it's 37,000, but that was for 4 bedrooms.
It is. It's 37.5 for 4 bedrooms.
Yeah,
Right.
essentially 4 bedrooms is 440 gallons per day, which I divided the estimated flow into. So
Okay.
essentially they are correct. It's.
Yeah.
you know,
Okay, then.
Under
Yeah,
the
based
current
on the-
policy, that's what it would be.
So we would have to take a look at the, we'd have to take a look at Title V a little bit more to see where you would fit. And then we'd probably have to take some sort of estimate on the temporary seasonal April to October. I suppose we calculate it by month and then subtract the 3 or 4 months that they're not operating
I mean,
to reduce the EDU or to reduce the gallons per day.
I'm not saying this is an approach, but
Yeah.
you know, one possibility is to look at the existing building, to look at its makeup and how much flow it is actually consuming, what's its water consumption data, and evaluating it, taking that into consideration as well.
Yeah, how can we determine, do you guys have the information around how many EDUs were allocated to 12 Parking Way and what their current consumption is? Is that information that we can get somehow?
Lisa would
Yeah,
be
but
the
it's
best for that. I'm not sure.
We should have an idea based on the sewer bill.
Historically, some of the buildings down there had what is only 1 EDU today because this was installed in, originally in 1972.
Right.
12 Parking Way is a newer building, but it probably was before we were counting EDUs in this fashion. So it's sort of the current, the way it is currently rather than what it was.
Well, complete
in the
control of the
past.
screen.
And I want to make it known that I can't vote on this because I own property so close to it that has a restaurant and stuff, and I don't want to be involved with having any conflict of interest or anything like that.
Well, I don't think we're in a position yet to vote. I think we really need to get some more information from Dan as far as, and also figure out how many EDUs are available in this, and then, then get back and look at it.
Yeah, I'd
My
like to
opinion.
I'd like to see how water views this as well.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got to go through planning board. You're going to conservation on this as well, since you're putting in gravel.
Conservation was never raised by the planning board, no.
Now, you want to check with the water department because the last I heard, a new water meter, new water connection would be $13,500. So, and I don't know how they're going to handle that on your, on the 12 Parking Way part.
Okay,
Lisa, maybe you can take a look to see if there's any information on past applications for 12. And also try to get the water consumption data.
Do we
Okay,
know what size, Dan, do we know what size pipe is already there? That
I
would be
don't.
able to handle, is it, gravity force main to be able to handle the additional flow?
I don't at this time.
Okay, yeah.
It's likely what the 6-inch pipe probably in the that way
Yeah.
going to an 8-inch.
I would think so.
outside
I
or
would think so.
I
mean,
believe our
potentially could be 8, but
engineer team did look at that, and
Yeah, it says 6-inch on the plot plan.
Did it say whether it was clay or PVC?
Doesn't, unless it's in the notes somewhere.
Yeah, I had a blown up version of it. I don't see it.
Well,
It
it's
does
some-
say 6-inch drain existing for 1 unit, and then, 6-inch sewer.
it may very well be that those two buildings in the back, or those two groups of buildings that goes into that Y fitting. That could have been all done before number 12 Parking Way was ever built. Or it might have been adjusted when the building was built. Because the center, the buildings on South Main Street were all sewered in 72, but that building was built 20 years later or so, or 15 years later. Just for history in terms of what might be there.
Good info.
Wasn't that right, Dan?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so it sounds like for next steps, we need to maybe consult further with our landlord to try to understand his sewer bill and how many EDUs would he know how many EDUs he was allocated as part of 12 Parking Way? Is that something that was part of a deed or something?
Likely not.
Yeah,
It
it's
would
it's
more-
possible Lisa might be able to find something in the files though for 12 Parking Way.
Right. Had you looked, Lisa, for anything?
I did look, I didn't see anything.
No files for it? No.
Nope. It was very, very limited as to what information was in there. I'll look again and look in other. I'll look around in that whole area. If there's another file, but I only saw one file there.
It's probably gonna, I mean, it's done in an era that the person that built it, his brother is a contractor. The contractor likely did all of the site work. And it could have just been done, Parking Way might have just been connected to the existing line, and that would be it. And I'm not sure at the time if the sewer department had anything in the way of connection fees. Because it would have been handled through the betterment of when the sewer pipe was put in to what would have then probably be a vacant lot.
Also on this plan, you should be showing the sewer connection for the existing building as well as the water connection.
Or 12 Parking Way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, if you have the gas in there too, just show that as well. And then subsequent plan.
Okay, so in terms of next steps, we can have the plot plan updated to show sewer and water connections for 12 Parking Way along with the gas lines. Lisa will look again to try to determine if there's any information on how many EDUs were allocated to 12 Parking Way initially. Who should be, is it on us to do the research related to Title V to try to understand the calculation on our side? Is there somebody that can support us on that?
I mean,
we'll be able to do that once we understand what, what the groundwork is, what has been done. I mean, as far as Dan will get that done for us. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you can look at it yourself if you wanted to. It's 310 CMR 15. And if you want to look at it and interpret it or propose something, you can as well. And Lisa, can we also try to get some water records too for 12?
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay.
And then maybe you can come back.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
One other thing too is on the sewer manhole access. I mean, if there was some type of removal matting or something like that on top of it, that would probably be okay.
Okay.
If you just wanted to cover it over, just
Yeah. Okay.
Helpful. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions on your side, Aaron?
No, I think we just really need to understand the the EDU implications, because that could really just dictate if we have to just scrap this entire thing, to be honest. So we just really need to figure that out.
What is your schedule of events for other town committees and boards?
We have site plan or sorry, the planning board tomorrow. And then we have a liquor license hearing January 18th. And then we're supposed to have a special like a entertainment special permit meeting at the end of January. That's still TBD.
So liquor and entertainment are the selectmen?
Correct.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. No conservation on this, huh? Wayne, is that unusual, do you think?
I'm happy.
I don't see any wetlands within 100 feet, so.
Yeah.
I mean, everything right now is buried in James Brook. So it's all piped or culverted.
Yeah, the only thing would be if they wanted to have you do put some of the surface water into the ground, but it doesn't seem to make sense because you're not, the asphalt's already there and the building is sitting on asphalt. So what?
Yeah, I think the planning team deemed that the crushed stone would actually reduce the amount of runoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you made penetrations in the asphalt so that it could leach out.
Right.
If the asphalt's going to stay there, which is what.
Right, we're gonna have additional little drainage constructed in it, so it should be a better drainage system, I guess, overall.
Right, but the plan indicated that the asphalt was going to be removed and crushed stone was in, so that would have been them saying, well, that's great.
Oh, no, they understood that. We have some plans to kind of do what you're saying. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'd like to see what the drainage is too that you're proposing. Because, we always have a concern of infiltration inflow into the system. We want to make sure that the drainage system isn't impacting the sewer at all.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, just that you're going to end up having a revised plan, right? I mean, as time is going on, you're going to show the plan as it's actually going to happen. Meaning take out things like remove asphalt.
Sorry, where do you see remove asphalt?
Isn't it in the left, up there in the middle left of the thing? I don't have the plan up now.
Yeah,
So
remove existing pavement and replace the crushed stone surface.
Okay, yeah, that's an error. I don't know why that was put on there.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry about
Apologies.
that. I was wondering where,
that's what I did.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's on there, to be honest.
Yeah, that's one of the areas where I'm saying, it's conservation would be concerned about drainage at that point,
Yeah, I understand now. Sorry about that. Okay. So I think we were originally hoping that this would be our final planning committee meeting tomorrow evening, but it sounds like they probably won't approve the site plan, right, until this is resolved. Is that fair to say?
They could approve it.
Oh, they could. Okay.
It's one of those catch-22s. You've got to sort of build it up and get as many approvals as you can so that continues on rather than subject to.
Sure. Okay. So it's good I wasn't sure if it would be contingent on the findings here.
That's my opinion, but sometimes
They may make their approval contingent on what we do, but.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, it sounds like we'll work with Lisa to get some additional information and try to talk to our landlord, see if he has any more info, and we can try to. How often does this group meet?
Every 2 weeks.
So we can put you on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay. Tuesday morning again?
That would be the 18th, I believe.
Okay. That's the same day as our liquor license hearing, I believe.
Yep, but you guys meet at 10 a.m. It'll still be 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's, yeah. So
The 18th and the 17th.
it'd really be great to get these plans ahead of time. We just got these plans about 4 minutes before the meeting this morning, so.
Okay, and who should we send those to in advance so that they can distribute them?
Lisa,
Okay,
and that'll have Dan some time to review it, and maybe we can go and recalculate the EDUs to see if we can get that reduced somehow. I don't know.
all right.
So sorry, just like, I know you'll have to look at it, and I'm not trying to push you guys at all, but do you have an estimate of time of when maybe you'll be able to look at that EDU calculation?
Well, hopefully by the 18th, we'll be able to find out what the existing EDUs were approved for 12. And then, like I said, this is not an addition to the existing building. You're 53 feet away from the existing building. This is a new structure. So
Is that what it's based upon, Paul? Is it based upon the proximity to the building? Because we could very easily put the container bar right next to the building if that's helpful.
yeah, I'd like to take a look at what we have done in the past, and also take a look at what of our regulations
because,
are
like,
on additions.
yeah.
For residential, any additional structure would require additional EDU.
That's
All right, Lisa.
residential.
Yeah, I didn't hear Lisa's statement. Sorry. Could you repeat that?
So, and for residential sewer connections, any structure other than the main structure, any additional structure connecting to the sewer would require additional EDU or percentage of whatever they're doing. So if somebody has a single family home and they built a barn that has a room, say one room where somebody would be residing, that would require a quarter EDU if it's one bedroom. If it's a guest house with 2 bedrooms, then it would be a half EDU. Regardless of how far away from it is original structure.
I'd be curious to see how planning may see this as a separate.
It's I think business and residential is sort of separate. This was a mixed use and building it, there'd be some situations, but anyway, I think it's time to move on.
Yep.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, I'm going to have to reboot my computer. My screen has gone completely blank for some reason, and I'll be right back on. All right.
Okay.
But
Okay.
carry on.
Well, we have.
We're going to go over capital budget, or is alternative energy going to be on next?
Are they ready?
Well, I don't see anybody on for alternative energy. Well, I don't see Tanya.
Okay.
I don't know if Alfred Morgan, could you let us know what subject matter you're interested in?
I think I'm back.
You are. We can see you and hear you.
I don't know what the hell happened.
There's an Alfred Morgan on, but I don't.
He's on, yeah, he's on mute. Did he type in to tell us what subject matter he's here for?
No, could you please, or unmute yourself, please?
So Lisa, just before he gets on, I think Tanya said she's got an 11 o'clock meeting, and we'll get off at around 11:30, something like that.
Want to reschedule her for the 18th?
Who?
She's quite extensive PowerPoint.
I saw it.
Can we get the abbreviated division? Because she'd
I
like.
don't
to do
think
it
so.
today rather than wait.
Okay, so for some reason, I thought she said she had a 10:30
Or maybe she did. Maybe I'm wrong. So don't
or
listen
a
to me.
10 o'clock. I thought she said she had a 10 o'clock. Oh yeah, she said she had an 11:30 call.
Okay, so just 11 now.
That was the latest, okay. Oh, no, I'm
So-
sorry, that was Bill.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Um,
looking at it right now. She's got a 10 o'clock that should go 10, it should go 30 minutes.
Oh, here she is. She just popped on.
All right. So should we get through drain layer and capital budget and all that before, and then bring her on?
So for the,
Is Don Piet going to be on for this capital budget?
I didn't invite him.
Okay,
Sorry, I didn't think to. But I
just
know
curious, yeah.
from our meeting, Paul, he had mentioned about maybe adding 6% across the board on all expenses.
Yeah, I'm okay with jumping into capital budget if, Bill, you want to do that before alternative energy.
Yeah, that's fine. What about the other two, the drain layer and the abatements? Do we want to push them off or?
I would
So-
push them off.
Yeah, and the abatement, I didn't get the packet, so that's gonna be canceled anyways. And basically the drain layer license, everybody should be renewing by now. But I haven't sent out the renewal packages and get until I wanted to talk about the renewal cost, renewal
Yeah.
fee.
Yeah.
So we get more information on both those items, so drain layer and abatements, and then we can put that on the 18th agenda.
Okay,
You want to put them on first, though, so we can get those out of the way?
Yeah.
sure.
Because cooking the beer garden will probably take up some time again.
Okay,
So on the capital budget, I met with Lisa and Don Piat a couple days before Christmas, just to really go over executing the CJC agreement. So the bills will flow and get reimbursed. And we also talked about finding out from Woodard and Curran if there's any capital improvements that need to be made to Tupelo, because they were supposed to get us that study and expense and proposal as well as Deer Hill. I know Brian mentioned Deer Hill seemed to be okay with taking on an additional 7,500 with no capital improvements. So I'm not sure if that's still the case at Tupelo as well, but I asked them to put a placeholder for a article on the warrant in case we need anything for capital improvement. I know with a sheet that Lisa had sent out prior, there was nothing listed for 2022 on any capital expense. But I can tell you that in the next 36 months, we have something like 300,000 in capital expenses that are going to come our way if those forecasts are accurate.
They all use the seal on oil changes right here. And we're looking for a 6mm Allen head.
who's that?
So I guess Corey Evans is on. I didn't hear what he had to say.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't mean to unmute myself.
Oh.
Sorry, guys. I was just
Okay.
going to pop me in for last 48. I want to invite you all to tonight's meeting.
Okay. So I don't know what we have for the capital budget review. I know I looked at the sheet Lisa had signed a couple weeks ago for the budget itself. I didn't know if we had anything. Dan, have you heard from Woodward and Curran on any capital expenses that are coming up? Because if this is the budget for 2023, the sheet we just showed said there was a $75,000 capital expense for 2023 booked. If that's the case, I think that has to go on the warrant, right? So we would need an article for that.
Probably.
Yeah.
And also the lighting upgraded, what do we have? A pump station rehabilitation of 15,000.
Yeah. So do we have a,
sorry to jump in, just on the Tupelo pump station and Deer Hill pump station.
Yeah.
So what did Curran had put a proposal together, I think a couple of months back, on assessing Tupelo pump station. And that was not approved as of yet. I think it's a good idea for them to go, top to bottom on that thing and come up with its condition and what should be done prior to CJC connecting. And I think the cost might have been, Lisa can correct me if I'm wrong, it was somewhere around $10,000. The Deer Hill should probably get the same kind of treatment and a report on that, but the cost, who's going to bear the cost on that report? That's a question I have.
Yeah, we had talked about that last time too, and I think what Wood and Curran was going back to do was basically they were going to work with Hayes and come up with a rehabilitation cost. And Hayes was supposed to put together a proposal for rehabilitating the pumping station at Veterans. And I've asked a couple of times, but I haven't seen anything yet from them on that, because that was something that we were going to review and probably just move forward on. Pumps are old and tired. Some work needs to be done. And I believe, that was going to be the assessment that they were coming back with, and we're still waiting for.
It's been quite a while though, because we had failure at Tupelo, and you had asked them to do all of that. So I don't know what's taking so long.
I don't either.
So would that include, the pumps, the controls, and then also like pump it down and structurally go in and take a look at the tank, make sure it's, falling, cracking, or anything like that? Was that included?
And maybe not the taking down of the tank. The tank should be in pretty good shape, but there was some wear on the pumps, and basically they were going to get Hayes down there to reassess it a little bit more and give them basically a shopping list for rehabbing the station. And I'm not sure if the slow up is with Hayes or maybe Wood and Curran is evaluating what they can do themselves. I'm not sure, but.
Okay, so the ball's in Woodard's court, and we can ask them for an update on that.
Yeah. So who's we? Brian, you going to do that?
Yeah, I can ask Rob
Okay.
Scott. Who they were given direction to move forward on an evaluation of some sort. So question to this commission is, what about the Deer Hill? I think that should probably get another top to bottom look at. All they looked at was like run times and capacity, volume wise.
Yeah, I had asked for Lisa for some consumption data, if you could dig that up for the school. I'm not sure if they have that or they track that, because they probably don't even bill it. But hopefully we can get some water use data just to compare that to the run times. And then I was going to go out there with Scott and do a drawdown test and make a better assessment.
And I just for a financial thing, I mean, if we're doing this on behalf of the Cook Estate, I think that any costs that are associated, we should keep track of it separately.
Yeah, I mean, and the Board of Health is going to have to bear some financial responsibility as well, I think, on at least the $10,000 look-see on the pump system, and not the sewer department.
I don't think the Board of Health.
Good luck. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so why I'm bringing it up now, obviously we don't have a deposit in hand or anything from Cook Estate yet, and the Board of Health doesn't have a budget really for this type of thing. So
okay,
my own thing would be, this is a huge I don't even know what the right word would be. This is just a huge ask of Cook Estate to us, obviously given their present reduced circumstances. So I think they should be paying, any kind of cost that is associated with doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, period. And not us, and not the Board of Health.
Well, I think they're planning on doing that, because they're basically have already announced an assessment of, they think it's going to be around $50,000 a unit. And if you got 27 units or something, that's over $1 million. And it's going to, it seems like they're putting the appropriate amount of money aside to be able to do this, because they've got to design it. They've got to make sure it's going to work. And then they have to, install everything.
I should also mention that Woodland Current is doing or having some repairs done at the Deer Hill School Station. Slide rails had rotted out and needed replacement. There was some other, aspects of the station that they were already working on as far as rehab. It's just, if you're gonna have more flow coming there, I think we need to go, soup to nuts as far as how everything's running.
That has 2 pumps and everything in it.
2 submersible pumps.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any time that you can tell when you did the readings that they use the most water? And would there be any conflict from the input of the 27 houses during a time frame? In other words, what is it?
Lisa's still getting that information
Okay.
as far as the water consumption data. So I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
So Brian, you're going to work with Woodard and get some costs together for us, because we have to have an idea by February, I think, to get what we need to on the some article drafted anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Rob should
For
have
proposal
something.
on assessing the Deer Hill pump station.
Yeah, so Deer Hill and Tupelo, both of those have to be assessed, and a decision has to be made on if there's any capital expenses that we need to put in.
Right.
Yeah, the assessment obviously will be at the expense of Cook on the Deer Hill.
Right.
And I think we need to, in accordance with the agreement we signed with Coughlin and Associates, we should probably have a separate purchase order that we can bill against. He can bill against for the Cook Estates. So.
Okay, I'll take care of that.
Okay.
What's interesting is that it almost should be a school expense to take care of their pump station, because they don't have a sewer bill that we collect any money from.
Yep.
And,
Ally has her hand up.
Oh, hi, thank you, Lisa. I just had a question about the regular maintenance that you're doing on the pump station. I wasn't aware of that, and I know that we intend to contribute to whatever upgrade is necessary, but how will the town keep track of the regular maintenance and separate that from any upgrade that Cook Estates would require? Some of those parts that you say that are rotting out and things like that would be normal maintenance for the Deer Hill School anyway. How would we be able to keep track of that separately?
Yeah,
So
we have. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, no, we have outsourced all of our maintenance and facility to Woodward and Curran, and they track all of that in detail for us, and we can, prior to your hookup, we have to assess what needs to be fixed before you hook up, which would be the expense of someone outside of Cook, if something needs to be repaired. But if something has to be upgraded to handle the additional 7,500, then that's an expense I would think Cook would have to pay for. So we're asking for the assessment to determine if what's existing does not need to be upgraded and we'll work fine to handle the 7,500 gallons a day, then we're fine. But if it has to be upgraded to handle your flow, that's an expense on Cook. But if it has to be upgraded because it's failing currently, that's our expense.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted a little clarification on that, because if it was an expansion for capacity, that's one thing, but I didn't know if some of those things would have to be replaced anyway, which in that case it would be town expense.
Yeah, if we're at end of life on a pump right now, when we dump 7,500 more gallons per day into it, it'll end really quick.
It'll fail, right?
Yeah.
Right, but in that case, that would be a town expense, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, the only caveat I'd say is if we had to increase the capacity of the pump, or it would benefit us to increase the capacity based upon the additional flow,
Right.
then there might be some incremental cost.
So there would be some way to prorate that, I guess, if it had to be replaced anyway, but then you would take the opportunity to upgrade it, then we would like split that or something?
Yeah, and that may not have happened,
Okay.
it may be fine based upon the
Okay.
run times currently, so.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Tanya has her hand.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to have my hand up.
Okay.
Tanya, we wanted to bump you till the 18th, if that's okay, because you've
Yeah.
got, Bill has to leave at 11:30 and you're at least a minute per slide, right?
Well, 30 seconds, but it's fast. It's like one sentence per slide.
Got it. I just wanted to make sure we had the appropriate time to digest what you
Yep.
have.
Well, I mean, the other thing we could do, I don't know what else is on the agenda, but I'm happy to do the 18th. If there's even, any time left, I can run through it for you to be able to then review it and digest, and I can come back on the 18th. Up to you.
It's really up to the chairman.
I don't mind.
We
Yeah, I mean,
got like 15 minutes. You got like 15 minutes left, so-
yeah, I've got to get off at 11:25, but the rest of the board can look at it until we finish. If you want to start, Tanya, fire away.
Happy to start. Should I
Can
have
we-
screen?
So before we start, do we want to go to other business now? Before we start, I think we have one person on for other business.
Oh, we do?
I don't think so. I don't.
Corey Evans. Is on.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
No, thanks, Paul. I appreciate it because I got to run too. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to invite the sewer commission, the select board tonight on the agenda for 8:10 p.m. is we're going to discuss somewhat of the bi-party or three-party regional framework with Situate and Hull. It's going to be very high level, but just to kind of brief the board and get the select board's approval on kind of what the next steps would be. So, Bill is aware of it, but I also just wanted to publicly invite, any sewer commissioners who are interested in tuning in to do that because, we all want to be on the same page because this is only something that we can all do together. This is not something that, any of us can do alone. So that's all I got.
Is this a Zoom call? Is this a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, we're back virtual this week, so you don't have to go anywhere. Just log on from your couch if you want.
Great.
Is there any framework or something that you could share with Paul and I that we are not aware of on what it is that the selectmen or Chris and you are doing with Hull and Situate?
I don't know what you're aware of, and I'll brief the
I'm not
board
aware of
fully
anything that
tonight.
you're doing. That's what I'm not aware of, okay? And I don't know if you made deals. I did get a copy of a draft agreement for an extension of 30 years for the thing. I don't know who prepared it. I don't know anything about it. I have real questions about it, and I'd probably be against it. So
Okay,
give me some hints of what you're going to talk about.
Sure. So
Sometime between now and 8:10, if you want.
no, sure. So again, this is I wouldn't put much stock into anything you've received from any other channels of any sort. There haven't been any decisions or agreements made on any of these stuff. But again, I'll be. I don't want to brief here because it's not on your agenda, and it's also I need to. I owe it to the select board to bring to them first. So you're certainly invited to bring your questions tonight, Wayne. And but as I said, this is going to be very high level. It's just purely concept at this point.
Okay, so who have you been working with to create what it is you're going to say tonight?
I've been working with, so I've been working with Bill and we've been working with Brian and I've been working with the town manager. We've had, just light conversations with neighbors on this stuff just to see kind of what's going on, really to align priorities, to see if the priorities line up. There's really going to be a discussion of priorities, not a discussion of agreements yet.
Okay, because we have, the sewer department has worked over the years on different alternatives. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure you know those alternatives. I don't know if you know that we have a plan for a satellite treatment plant. I don't know that in Cohasset and all these other things.
Totally. Yeah. So what we're looking for and
So
what I was talking to Bill about
is handling this.
Yeah, no, so I'm totally on board, and that's why I want to be sure you guys are invited and kept up to date. I've talked about Bill about, my apologies, Bill, for speaking for you. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but just so that Sewer Commission has a official liaison so that, we've got two-way communications all the time. It's not really too efficient to.
And I'm sad about that because if you're dealing with Bill, he's not the sewer commission. He's only one person. And he doesn't have the ability to share the information without going into a public meeting.
So let me just, and I don't want to pull a Band-Aid off at this point, and I appreciate Tanya's holding on here.
Sorry for going sideways here. Just
No, but my only concern was that, you know, and I'll just give you my opinion. It just seems as though that we, as I said to you in the meeting with Chris and Brian, that we have been working on this and Hull for the better part of 7 years. And all of a sudden now it appears that control of this process is now within the select board. And I don't know how that happened. I don't think we've done anything wrong. We have been waiting for meetings and asking for meetings for the better part of a year. So, that's my issue. Yes, we've had, information meetings as I think 2 of them. But I think that, if there is a concerted effort by the town to go forth, to Wayne's point, other alternatives other than hooking up to Hull have been discussed. And I think we need, we should have something in a more of a, I don't know, I think we should just have a public meeting with whoever wants to get on it, that we can go through all of this, and maybe that's tonight, I don't know, and see what exactly is in the best interest of the town, period.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree at all. I think that's what all of us are looking for. You've been, Bill, you've been with in the meeting, the main meeting that we had last year, you were included. And right now, the idea is to just be sure that we are all on the same page. And so the select board has to have discussions about, this is going to involve the select board as well as the sewer commission. So what I encourage you guys to do is on your next agenda, have this on the agenda so you can, I know in 2020, your white paper said that you were supportive of discussions with Situate to see if there was areas to cooperate to kind of save our harbor. And I know that's been a priority that you guys have stated publicly before. I think that if that's still the case, having your board appoint a liaison and, just reaffirm that this is something we want to do would really, because I said earlier, we have to do this together. This isn't something that, select board is interested in doing on its own or has any goals here outside of this goal you just stated, Bill, which is, hey, we just want to protect our town and be sure that going forward, we make the best decision. We can only do that together. So that's why I'm here to publicly invite you. That way it doesn't, you don't feel like you didn't get the invite. I'm here to invite you officially to this if you'd like to come. And then we can, you can have any questions there, but then you can put it on the agenda as well and discuss. And if we all have it on our agenda as regular, then we're all on the same page and we don't feel like anyone's being left out.
So if we have 3 people, 3 of the board members, all 3 of us show up, do we have to post it?
What I would recommend, again, we're all allowed to attend as attendees. If we're all a panelist, that's a little bit different. So, if you want to, tune in and watch, there's, as I understand it, and again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not counsel. There's nothing stopping you from watching the meeting. If you all want to talk all 3 together, it's a little bit different. But again, I invite you to watch. If you have any questions, you can certainly email them to me. But also, just to let you guys know, it'd be good for the sewer commission to have this on their agendas so you guys can officially talk about it publicly and, tell us, the select board, we're looking for your guidance here. So.
Okay.
Cart before the horse.
All right, guys, thanks very much for putting me in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did it.
Yeah, no, I'm here for you, Wayne. Thanks, bud. Bye.
Bye, Bill.
Yeah, sorry, Tanya.
That's all right.
All right.
You got the slide, Bill, so.
Yeah, I do. All right. See you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Let's
All
go.
And I'm also, again, happy to come back and discuss this in more detail on the 18th. But I think there's a lot of content, so even just doing a quick run through could help you digest. I do not have screen. Oh, yep, I do now. All right. So can everybody see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is just a quick update on what the Alternative Energy Committee is doing. We spoke to you 2 months ago. Hard to believe what's happened since. There is a solar energy opportunity for you, and we wanted to talk to you about that. It would save you 10% or potentially more of your electricity costs. And then the other is an update on where we ended up with the microgrid project that is still being finalized with MEMA. It's still uncertain whether it even gets submitted to FEMA, but we think we have a good project, so we'll give you an update on that. So thank you for continuing the conversation.
This is an update too. You had presented this to the select board.
I
about a
had
month-
presented an update to the select board, and so this is just an update focused on the sewer commission and the water
Okay.
treatment plant.
Okay, yeah, I attended that one, so I
Yes. So some of it may look familiar to you,
Okay,
but
yeah,
it does dig down more into the wastewater treatment plant that's directly relevant to you.
Okay.
So the first thing is you guys are spending, $20,000 to $30,000 a month, $20,000 to $25,000 a month on electricity, based on the data you sent us. It's been around 240 to 260 this year. It's probably going to be around 300,000 per year. This is going to be a bad winter. I'm just telling you now. Gas prices are high. LNG prices are even higher. That's a third pipeline. So the prices have been going up, costs are going up. And here's an illustration of your average electricity price, again, based on data that you were kind enough to provide us. And so electricity prices have been going up year over year. And again, this winter could be among the highest yet for a number of reasons. So solar energy offers an opportunity to save money. We have some opportunities available for you now, if you'd like, and we wanted to talk through that. We estimate that you could save, based on some of the bids that we've received and looking at where prices are going, you could potentially save $30,000 to $35,000 a year under current conditions. Depending on how you structured it, you could either have that locked in as a fixed savings, or you could allow it to go up and down with whatever the electricity prices are. And that's about 10% of total electricity costs for the sewer commission and wastewater treatment plant. So we wanted to talk to you about that. How do you do that? Based on the bids we received, you could only host around 35 kilowatts on the wastewater treatment plant. It's not a lot. It doesn't have economies of scale. It would barely cover the cost. It'd be break even at best. But you need around 1.5 kilowatts total of solar to meet your needs. The best option for you, just because a lot of the other town roofs behind the meter are the most lucrative, would be third-party sites. And that would allow you to realize some of these savings. And we did receive some bids on that. The most active one being the Stop and Shop Center and using some of those roofs. Palmer proposed that and was working with Stasco, and they're going to be submitting a final proposal. We do not need 30B permission to use third-party sites. If you were to use a local rooftop, you'd get around the same savings as if you use another option outside of the town. And it could help, depending on what happens with microgrid, it could help just having those assets in place. So that is how you could do it.
So on the rooftop panels, were in blue. What were the ones in red? Are those parking lot panels where you would park your car under?
Carports, yes. Palmer gave us a proposal for that too. So there's sizable opportunity at the Stop and Shop carports.
So where are the savings based on, the blue or the red or both?
Both.
So we would need both to get the $35,000 rebate? No. Okay.
No. Palmer gave us one price for both. The rooftops tend to be cheaper, so you could get bigger savings, but they blended potential credit. So the way and there's also carport opportunity in town that would require 30B permission to put them in the town parking lot or elsewhere. But the third-party sites, you could sign that contract tomorrow. And we just want to make you aware of this, so you have the information to make a decision if you want to pursue this, and we're happy to help. The cost savings are simple the way they're structured under the current plan. You basically buy your power for a set price. You get a credit, which is a regulated credit, and it's based on what the average prices have been. And this is an example where you get your $30,000. because you'd pay $150,000 for your power and you'd get a credit for $180,000 and your net gain would be $30,000 discount off of your electricity bill. To get in the queue, we could simply get an award letter that says, and I don't know if it'd be the town who enters into it on the part of the enterprise fund or the sewer commission, or if it'd be the sewer commission entering into that. I leave that to you in the town council to figure out, but basically an award letter to Palmer could get you into the queue, the Smart 2.0 queue, which gives you that credit, and it's first come, first serve. We are in negotiations already. And so the question is, do you want to be a part of it? And are you interested in these types of savings? And if so, most certainly we can work with you going forward, but this is ready to happen now. If you're interested, you don't have a lot of assets to be able to put it behind the meter like the schools do. Our frustration with schools is the roofs need to be replaced, so it doesn't work. Our frustration with you is your roof is so small, it doesn't work. But we have these third-party sites as an option to still give you savings.
I think the third-party sites are the way to go, because I don't think we could get permission from the neighbors to be able to put a solar panel on the roof. We already had to put shingles on it over a metal roof years ago when the plant was built. So the public may not like what it looks like, even though it looks fine. But you don't want to go into that battle again.
Right.
And
and it's not economic. It's just not economic.
Yeah.
You can get more savings with the third-party sites. Yes.
You have a great company like Palmer that is interested in building this and using money to do it. Do any of these deals work where the town puts in money up front instead of borrowing, instead of giving Palmer, who has to get 5 or 10% interest on his money, and get a larger return on our, sort of as an investment to us?
Yeah, and right now the answer is no. And the reason why it's not is because there's a significant amount of tax credits that decrease the total cost of the solar, and the town doesn't have tax appetite. The town doesn't pay taxes, so we can't use that tax credit.
Okay.
But the infrastructure bill, some of the discussions contemplated giving municipalities the ability to get a credit, the equivalent of a tax credit, realizing the municipalities currently cannot do it directly.
Okay, so the most we can get is 10% basically of what? I guess it's sort of a personal question. How much money does the developer get from doing this versus what we get for the share?
Well, we did a competitive bid, and they came in pretty much where others came in. So in fact, we're more lucrative in some cases. They, as we showed, doing a third-party site is not the most cost-effective way for the town to proceed. But for the town to proceed, we need to be able to have load and serve it directly. That gives us the biggest bang for our buck. The third-party sites, because you have to pay lease, you get higher costs of the developers and all of that. It's offset in part by the state and federal credits, but because of it all comes out in the wash right now under this approach, it's the most savings we can get.
Okay, so
Yep,
in that delta there between the parking canopies and third-party sites, something is going to the third-party sites as well as something is going to the developer, and then something's going to us, right? In other words, Stop and Shop is not letting you, or the owner of Stop and Shop's building isn't just saying, hey, this is good for the town, you can go ahead and put panels here. They're going to be getting something for it. And then
there's a lease payment to the third-party site, and the town, if the town's providing the site, we charge $1 just to get the savings in the electricity.
$1
For the lease of the school roofs, for example.
$1 per year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the others, what do you pay for the third-party sites?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
It's rolled into whatever the bid is.
I'm just the type of guy that's looking for the best financial deal possible. And I know you're.
I
you're
agree.
capable of this, you know.
I agree.
And I'm
And-
wondering,
and-
if I have some sites that maybe I could go ahead and make some money on, you know?
Right.
So I
Well,
stay-
we're open to that too, Wayne, because when we talk about the microgrid, having as many of these potential solar sites around town could contribute to reliability resiliency, right? It would be better if we can get a microgrid up and running, it'd be better to have those assets in town versus outside of town. But this were based on the bids that we went after a year and a half ago. And we've been negotiating and talking and trying to figure out how to get the best deal. We're trying for the DPW site, maybe the school roofs, maybe parking canopies. Nobody seems to want them aesthetically. Other town sites aren't as lucrative. They're just small. I would say that the third-party site is more lucrative than putting solar panels on the wastewater treatment plant.
How does this compare with the site at the landfill?
Oh my God, let me tell you, we are making money at the landfill for two reasons. Number one, it's a previous program that was much richer in the way they set the credit. And so we are making hand over fist money at that site. Those opportunities are not available anymore.
But we can't buy the electricity from you at a
From
reduced
who?
rate.
From the town? That's already
Yeah.
allocated.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll bet, I will say, we've got, the schools have another megawatt. They don't want us to look at the high school, right? But
What's your excess capacity that you're selling off?
there's nothing right now.
Really?
The town
Why-
doesn't have anything.
Okay. So why does it say maybe under DPW and school groups?
Because the school roofs, the problem is the school roofs are ready to be replaced.
Okay.
But the date of replacement keeps moving. And so it's supposed to be 2 years away. Now it's 5 years away, 10 years away. The state keeps moving that date. And we can't put the solar panels on until the school roofs are replaced because they're end
Got
of
it.
life.
Okay.
And the DPW site, it's just a question of, do we have additional ability to connect there? And we would want to go with Palmer. We did put it out to bid, but we'd want to go with Palmer, who's already there. And they're having inverter issues with the interconnection with National Grid. And the problem with the DPW site is there's no load there. So the most lucrative way to do it is put it on the roofs and supply the schools directly. And now you're
Yeah.
offsetting not some regulated credit, but 100% of the delivered power cost.
Okay.
Excuse me, may I ask a question to Tanya?
Yes, hi, Ally.
Hi, Ally. This is Ally. I'm a resident of the Cook Estates. I was just wondering, those solar panels, are they flat on the roofs of those buildings, or would they be elevated in some way that would increase the existing roof height on those buildings?
So I don't know, because I don't know how those roofs are structured, but they would be facing south.
So the roofs are flat now on those mixed use buildings. So you're talking about these would have to be angled toward the sun. So they would be propped up, which would increase the height of the building. Is that what you're
They
saying?
would have some, well, it would not increase the height of the building, but it would have an additional height associated with those panels.
And do you have any idea how tall these panels are?
No. We're talking about, they'd be basically put onto the roof. So I think they'd be up a couple feet. or
And
less.
are you also talking about, you said parking canopies? Are you talking about adding additional structures in the parking lot to accommodate these panels?
A Stop and Shop?
Yes.
That is an option, yes. But again, it's all set, it's all structured
Right.
according to how the third party owner
Right.
of that property
Right.
wants to do it.
Right. And do you have any idea how many parking canopies are being discussed?
So right now, none, but the proposal looked at what could be put on that site, sorry. And what could be put on that site As you can see there, that's in red up in the upper corner. So if you covered it, you could have however many megawatts. But right now, I think what Palmer is looking at is the roofs.
I see. And when would you be looking to do this? What
Well,
would the
right now,
timeframe be?
I'm sorry.
The time frame?
So the time frame would be basically as soon as a counterparty shows interest and signs the agreement, it can go into the queue. And the hope would be that construction starts before the end of 2022 in order to get the most lucrative investment tax credits. They were extended because of COVID, but they're going to start scaling down starting next year. So
Okay.
construction ideally would start before the end of the year.
Okay. Is this something that goes before a town meeting?
No. Because it's not a town site. So it's a power purchase decision, which does not require a 30B procurement process.
It would require planning board approval, though, if you were putting them in the parking lot, right? Putting structures in the parking lot.
I would leave that to the developer and the private party to decide. I mean, I think there definitely would be, it would not have to go to town meeting, but there would be permitting that would have to be done, and it would have to go through the normal construction process that any construction in town would have to go through.
And would there be any kind of public meeting that would involve neighbors?
I think any part of those town, for example, citing, permitting, any of the permitting processes would be open meetings.
Okay. Thank you.
I think it's great.
Yeah, you're missing solar panels on the youth center that's in the town parking lot behind the Red Lion Inn.
That's even smaller and even less efficient than the wastewater treatment plant. So anyway, there's a project, there's a developer, there's a private party that has shown interest, a letter of support as part of the bid. We've been trying to optimize with the DPW site in the schools. And I think, one of you said to me, nobody's come and talked to us about solar. And I suddenly realized as we were going through the microgrid process that, wow, this is actually potentially a great way for water and wastewater treatment to save money. And there's some private sites right there that could get signature and start going through the process now. So 10%, but again, depending on how the contract is structured, it could go up, could go down, or it could be set at a fixed credit rate. Fixed discount off the credit. Okay.
Sounds good.
So that's where we are, but let us know if you're interested. The ITC was extended to the end of this year, and the SMART 2.0 is still awaiting final DPU decision, but the queue is filling up.
So the timeline for us to make a decision is when?
I would say, go through the process, but everything's ready to go if you're interested in proceeding.
Okay, I
don't want to sound like a developer because I'm not, but sooner rather than later, just to get into the queue.
Yeah, so we're basically throwing the sewer department in the pile of cost savings if third party puts all these solar panels up everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. Right. It's either going to be you or somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe. So why not let it be the town? And it's more lucrative for the town because of the way the credit's calculated versus a residential or, commercial.
Right.
So we're trying to optimize the credits, do what Wayne likes to do, save as much money as possible.
When you said this is ready to go, do you have commitments by third parties that said they'll definitely do it?
We have a letter of support that was submitted as part of the proposal. I think Stasko is trying to figure out what he wants to do for himself and backup power versus lease for somebody else's use. Palmer's been working with him on that. Palmer's the developer, and that's where we are. Palmer is giving us a revised bid. They do not have to go through a procurement process because it's third-party site, but they're giving us a revised bid to include the other roof of the new building, now that that's moving forward officially. So we expect to get that from Palmer within the next week or two. And again, if you're interested, we most certainly can keep you, get you in the loop and
So
send you copies.
was it your group that went to the third parties to kind of
Yep,
get
so
or
our
who-
group did a 30B procurement at the end of 2019. No, at the end of 2020. We did a 30B procurement to look at the school roofs, get pricing for school roofs, carports, treatment. So all the town sites that we had gotten approval from the town to potentially lease, we went out and did a procurement, but we also asked bidders to consider private third-party sites, just so we could get a full scope of basically price. We wanted to get some pricing so we'd be able to make the comparison and understand what the total options were in town. As part of that, Palmer came in with third-party sites, Amoresco came in with third-party sites, some of which they had talked to the owners, some of which they had not, but they had identified where potential third-party sites in town would be able to host solar. And so as part of our 30B procurement, we also received bids for the private sites. And that's where these maps.
So
and
did
pricing come in.
anyone approach, let's say, Shaw's Plaza or Hingham Lumber?
I don't know who approached who. We went to developers and developers were given,
Okay.
the opportunity to find third-party sites to be able to do this. I know the sports complex was included. Again, I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody approached them.
Okay.
The Graham Waste Landfill is a great site, except that it's a landfill and the post-closure permitting can be difficult, but we left it to the developers to identify.
Okay, so the developer takes it upon himself to go find a place to put these panels. Okay,
And St. Anthony's Church is the parking lot in there seems pretty large in relation to. I don't know if they've looked at some of those too, other parking areas.
yeah. Well, covered parking at the transfer station would be nice.
Well, okay, so that actually is something we are working on.
Okay,
So
good.
we have been tracking down that developer. That's basically a commissioned, that was awarded to somebody who then sold the rights to somebody else. So we've been
Yeah.
hounding them to give us a proposal and they just haven't done it, but we are most certainly looking at that. That would give us 1.75 megawatts, which is the entire needs of the town outside of the enterprise funds.
Wow, that'd be nice.
So we're tracking that too. So this is the end of the solar. I don't know if you want us to jump into the microgrid or wait till the 18th. Up to you. This
Yeah,
is good
I'd rather
starting
wait
point.
I'd rather wait till the 18th on it, I think, on the solar side of it. I mean, if it's not gonna cost us anything, I wouldn't mind throwing our hat in the ring for the $30,000 savings. I don't know when it would be realized. You're talking 2023 probably, right?
Yep. 2023, you'd start realizing that. And
Yeah.
just to tell you, the landfill right now, we are paying 8 cents in lieu of 22 cents. So the savings are crazy on that deal.
yeah.
It's just, they're not that rich anymore.
Yeah.
Is there any more talk ever about using the Gulf River there to do some hydroelectric power? Like with the water?
Yeah, the hydro is not economic compared to solar right now.
No?
I mean, we could do it. It's feasible. It's technically feasible. It would cost us money.
You've done a good job. Thank you.
No problem. All right, so we'll keep you in the loop on this one.
Please.
And
That would
then
be great.
we'll schedule this for the 18th. We'll come back to talk about the microgrid. But you've got the information to read through and digest. And
I want to say yes to our discount though.
I'm sorry?
I would think that we want to say yes to getting the 10%.
Again, free
Yeah.
money. This is our job. Find the money that's laying on the ground and help the
I wanna
town
say
pick
we
it
wanna
up.
take it. I want to take it anyway.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
So you got 2 people who want to, so we have a quorum.
Okay,
Thank you very
good.
much. for it.
So we'll keep you in the loop. All right, awesome.
Okay. Thank you,
Thanks.
Tanya.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.
I
And-
think that's all we have on, oh, sorry.
What'd you say, Lisa?
I was just gonna say, I think that's all we have on the agenda right now.
What
That's
about the
correct.
That's down below. What did that say?
Okay,
Okay. All right, so we make a motion to adjourn?
so moved. All in favor?
Aye. Oh.
Aye.
Check
Paul
aye.
Kears, aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, bye, have a good day.